wait. All right. Shh. Okay, so here is our general form of any generic conic. Ax squared, bxy, cy squared, dx, ey, and then f would be our constant if we have one. So I said just a second ago that none of these that we have dealt with have an xy term. Therefore, when we're identifying the b value, it will be 0 in all of these. Okay, but the a and the c, we will have a and c values, and b squared minus 4ac, you might remember from using the quadratic formula, is what's under the square root in a quadratic formula. It's called the discriminant. Okay, so this is how we can do a systematic, step-by-step check to see what conic section these represent, but then we can also just analyze it on our own, so we'll talk about that also, and then which method you use is up to you. So this is kind of the systematic step by step. You will have the equation of a circle if the b squared minus 4ac is negative and a and c are equal. Okay, you will have an ellipse if b squared minus 4ac is negative also, bless you, but a is not the same as c. You will have a parabola if b squared minus 4ac is 0. And you will have a hyperbola if, can anyone guess? It's positive, greater than 0. So it's negative is either a circle or ellipse, then you have to evaluate the a and c values. It's a parabola if it's 0, it's a hyperbola if you get anything that's positive. Okay? All right, so let's do a few of these using this, and then we'll do a few where we just sort of analyze. Okay, so the first one here, if I want b squared minus 4ac. Okay, well, b is the coefficient of xy, which I already said. You don't have one, so this will be 0 squared. Minus 4 times a. A is the coefficient of x squared. So what is my a value in this one? 1. C is the coefficient of y squared. So what is my c value here? 0. There's not a y squared term. So that gives me 0 minus 0 is 0. Therefore, this equation represents a parabola. Okay, number 2, b squared minus 4ac. B squared is 0 on all these because we don't have an xy term. Minus 4, a is the x squared coefficient, which is 25 here. C is the y squared coefficient, which is 9. Now guys, don't grab your calculator. What kind of number am I going to get there? Definitely negative, because all of this is a positive number, but I'm subtracting it. So it doesn't even really matter the number I get. If I just can realize what sign it will be, is it 0, positive, or negative, then I've got my answer there. Okay, so it's negative. Oh, that narrows it down, but I still have a little bit of work to do. Is A equal to C, or is A different from C? They were different. They're right there. So it is an ellipse. Easy enough? I'm going to do a couple more. Let's do number 4. B squared minus 4AC. Plug them in. Okay, now Run it through your calculator if you need to, but can you look at that and tell me if you're going to get a positive or negative? It's going to be a positive because you have a negative times a negative, which is positive, times a positive. I'm getting a positive value there. So if it's positive, it's greater than 0, that tells me it's a hyperbola. Question? Let's see, we didn't do a circle. Let's do 8. B squared minus 4AC. All right, find that value for me. Okay, then once you get your value, make your decision. Kind of gave that one away, didn't I? We haven't done a circle. Let's do number 8. This one is a circle. So you should have gotten a negative number. So then I have to clarify, like, okay, was A equal to C or was A not equal to C? A and C were the same numbers. You can see right there, I plugged in 2 and 2. So that makes it a circle. Okay, let's talk about how we could do this without using that formula. Now, if you are a step-by-step, I like a rule, then you might like that formula. And let me stop right now and say, remember you can use this sheet on your test next week. So if you like having this guideline to go by, I would put it on the back of your formula sheet. Okay? All right, but let's talk about how you could figure this out without a formula. Okay, looking at number 1, how could I know that that's a parabola without b squared minus 4ac? Yes, only one variable is squared. So I do have an x squared, but I don't have a y squared. And on your formula sheet, you'll notice that that's the only one that has one variable squared. So I could just use that as a guideline. Okay, so how would I know that this one was an ellipse? Well, I have an x squared and a y squared, therefore it's not a parabola. If it's an ellipse, one of these will be negative. Because remember, not an ellipse, my bad, hyperbola. Because hyperbola has a subtraction between the two terms, which means one of them is negative. They're both positive, so it's not a hyperbola. They're both squared, it's not a parabola. So then I just look at these coefficients. They're different, so it's an ellipse. Okay, look at 3. Tell me what it's not. It's not a parabola or hyperbola. Neither are negative. Both variables are squared, so that cuts out parabola. Okay, but so it's down to ellipse or circle, but the coefficients are the same, so that leads to a circle. Okay, what about 7? Hyperbola. I could tell right away. Why? Yes, one of the squared terms is negative. One of them is subtracted. That both variables are squared, so it can't be a parabola. One is negative, that tells me right away it's a hyperbola. Okay? So, I don't care which method you use. Just feel comfortable with the one that you're using. And if you do want these formulas, put them on the back of your formula sheet. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the homework for yesterday's, the word problems. And I have the directions on the board in case you forget. But what we're going to do is omit number 7. No, my bad. Yes, 7. We're gonna omit number 7. Hang on. Then you can omit any other 2 of your choice. Okay, so that you are omitting a total of 3, doing a total of 7. Then I'm going to give you these problems where you decide what this represents, either by analyzing it or using the b squared minus 4ac. All right, now listen up, pay attention, and this addresses your question. There is other stuff here. Graph it, find out, put it in standard form, etc. You don't have to do that unless you want extra practice. All you need to do with these is identify what they are. Okay? But if you're looking for some extra practice completing the square and that kind of thing, these would be some good ones to do because I will have the answers up here for you. And they're also in Google Classroom. Okay? So if you forget those directions, they are on the board over there. And I'll pass these around and let you get one of each. Okay? So that was a short video.